Everyone in the chow hall froze the moment the water hit her head. An old woman, alone with her noodles, soaked and shaking, while a young U.S. Marine stood over her, certain he was teaching a lesson. What he didn't know was that this woman had survived battles that buried legends. Before the truth came out, the room would fall silent in a way none of them would ever forget. Back-end index pointing right. From which part of the country are you watching from? Leave a comment and let us know. The chow hall at the base was loud that afternoon, filled with the usual clatter of trays, laughter, and tired Marines grabbing a quick meal before afternoon drills. No one paid much attention to the old woman at first. She sat alone at a metal table, her back straight despite her age, slowly lifting noodles from a white bowl with steady hands. Her gray hair was neatly combed, her red cardigan worn but clean, and her eyes calm, almost distant, as if she were somewhere far away. To most people, she looked out of place, too old, too quiet, a visitor who didn't belong among young soldiers hardened by training and routine. That was when Staff Sergeant Cole noticed her. He was respected, feared even, known for discipline and zero tolerance for what he thought was disrespect. In his mind, the chow hall was not a place for civilians to wander freely, and certainly not for someone who looked like they were ignoring posted rules about authorized personnel. He watched her for a moment, irritation building, convincing himself she was mocking the order he lived by. Without asking questions, without checking a list, he grabbed a plastic pitcher of water from a nearby station and marched toward her table. Conversations died down as Marines sensed something was about to happen. Cole stopped behind the woman, towering over her, his jaw tight. "You think you could just sit wherever you want?" he snapped. The woman didn't turn around. She simply lifted another bite of noodles, her hand steady, her silence somehow louder than words. That was all it took for Cole to decide she was being defiant. In one sharp motion, he tipped the pitcher. Cold water cascaded over her head, soaking her hair, her cardigan, dripping down onto the table and floor. Gasps echoed across the room. The woman froze, chopsticks suspended in midair. Slowly, she lowered them and lifted her face, water streaming down her cheeks. Her eyes were wide, not with fear, but with something older, heavier. Memories. Cole expected anger, maybe tears. Instead, she looked at him with a quiet intensity that made his confidence falter for just a split second. "You done?" she asked calmly, her voice steady despite the water dripping from her chin. The room went completely silent. A few Marines exchanged uneasy glances. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Cole scoffed, masking his sudden discomfort. "You don't belong here," he said, "and you don't ignore a Marine." The woman slowly stood up. Though smaller than Cole, she seemed to fill the space between them. She reached into the inside pocket of her soaked cardigan and pulled out a worn leather wallet. Her hands didn't shake. She placed it on the table and opened it, turning it so he could see. Inside was a faded military ID, older than any uniform in the room, alongside a black and white photo of a much younger woman in combat gear, eyes sharp, posture fierce. Cole frowned, leaning closer. Then he saw the insignia, the unit designation. His breath caught. A murmur rippled through the room as other Marines recognized it too. That unit wasn't just rare, it was legendary. One of the earliest, most brutal combat units, deployed in conflicts most of these young Marines had only read about. The name under the photo matched the woman standing in front of him. "I was invited here," she said quietly, "to speak later today. About leadership, about restraint, about the cost of power when it's used without understanding." Her gaze never left his. "I've been shot at, captured. I've watched friends die because someone thought force was the fastest answer." Cole felt the weight of every eye in the chow hall on him. His face flushed, not with anger now, but shame. He straightened, instinctively snapping to attention without even realizing it. "Ma'am, I didn't know," he said, his voice lower, stripped of its edge. "No," she replied. "You didn't ask." She closed the wallet and tucked it back in her pocket. For a long moment, no one moved. Then she reached for her bowl, sat back down, and calmly picked up her chopsticks again. "Water dries," she said softly. "Regret doesn't." The chow hall slowly returned to life, but nothing felt the same. Cole stepped back, his certainty shattered, realizing that rank without humility was just noise. Later that day, when the woman stood at the podium to speak, every Marine listened, especially him.